you know, people, and it would be I'd be remiss to say that there's so many people that we would love to have included in today's episode. But today, we're going to keep things a bit concise. We have an itinerary, an agenda. You can look forward to seeing people like Katie B coming in the building. We've got Matthew of Matthew Goes Live. You may recognize him from some of your favorite reality TV. We got Blake Premier, some of my best friends. Blake Premier is here tonight. We have Charismatic on deck with a special segment, as well as my man Adam Bird, who I've not seen in many years. In fact, I may even have a photo to talk about it. And then at the end, I have a secret. I have something special that I planned, not even Ari, who helped organize today's show. Shout out to Zach and Aaron. Zach is currently getting himself healed up so he stays healthy. We want to make sure that Zach stays healthy, so shout out, Zach. But shout out to Ari, too, for helping to make all these things happen so quickly. I was a little bit of a diva when she sent me a flyer. I said, Ari, it's too busy. I want less. And you know what? She did it. Day up. So the last segment's a secret. I totally planned it. It's not something I've ever done here on live before, but I hope that you stick around for this end because I put a little thought into it. I thought about how I was going to do it. I even skipped Scott, did I skip the gym? You can't hear him right now. Scott may or may not be in my household. I skipped the gym today because I ran out of time. But that's how important it was. So thank you so much for being here. This is Suited Up, a weekly interview and talk style show. My name is Chris Casper. I'm your host. And we have Katie B request in the box first today. So Katie B, whenever you're ready, it's to my itinerary. Then I know that you're supposed to be our first guest tonight. So Katie, if you want to go ahead and do that, please do it. Oh, I forgot I have it like this. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this is the 5-year anniversary. That's right. I've been a part of this community for 5 years. Thank you so much for celebrating together. Coming to the show, one of my longest friends from this entire community, Miss Katie B. Welcome to the show.
Hey!
Let's put you in medium. There we go. Is that good? Are you in the right size?
Yes, that's perfect.
Perfect.
Thanks, Chris. I'm so excited to be here to celebrate your 5-year anniversary here with the apps. If you guys are new here to the app, you might not know that Chris started his career as a live streamer, like many of us, as a little baby live streamer back in 2018. It just so happens that I also started live streaming within days after Chris did. I'm about to have my 5-year stream anniversary. Nice. I started on our sister app Tag. I wouldn't meet Chris until a few months later when I started streaming here on Meet Me, but due to our similar goals and mindset, we did become fast friends. There's something else that Chris and I share in common, and it's our love for what some people may consider somewhat nerdy content. And if you guys follow Chris on Instagram, you might already know where we're going, because he has a not-so-secret second account called Casper Collects, where
that is true.
You gotta catch them all. So if you guys are Pokemon fans, I highly recommend checking out Chris's other Instagram page. It's linked in his Instagram page if you guys want to follow him there. So to kick off the celebration, I was asked to provide a little Pokemon trivia. How do you think you'll do at this, Chris?
Well, I feel like we're starting out the celebration by checking me. I feel like we're starting out like, all right, you really say you're about the life, but are you really? So am I being made valid right now, Katie B? Am I being verified?
Yeah, basically, we decided that we wanted to humble you at the beginning of your show. That was actually the meeting that happened.
Oh, perfect.
No, all that being said, as much as I also enjoy my own nerdy content, Pokemon is not my particular passion. So I had some friends help me with coming up with the questions here. So if anything is incorrect, or I will be mispronouncing things, just know that is just part of what we got going here. But before we get into the actual trivia questions, Chris, I thought we could start by telling us how you first got into Pokemon in the first place, and also what got you into the trading cards.
Yeah. Okay. So I got into Pokemon in the hype. 1999 is when it came out here in the US. And I was into Power Rangers and Godzilla mostly at that time.
Okay.
I was with my mom at her school, and they had limited TV access. She's a teacher, and during the summer, she would set up her room. And one of the shows that I was able to get access to was, it was like, I don't know, whatever the equivalent of CW was. But they had Pokemon on it, and it was the episode where Ash caught Caterpie. And from there, I just kind of got into it. I remember my first Pokemon card. It was a Paris. We got it from a kids' mall. And my family, they got me the common card. That was fine. I still have it to this day. And the other part of it is what got me into trading cards. I wanted the thing that had the Pokemon on it. And I got it. And soon enough, the entire country was taken by storm. If you were there, you were there. If you know, you know.
You were at the cusp of the Pokemon craze, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say you weren't on the bandwagon if you started at the beginning, because Pokemon was already blowing up in Japan, and when it made its way to the US, it had already been talked about on the news. Pokemon originally came out in 1996 in Japan. And so by the time it hit here in 99, it was 3 years later, the hype was really there. So it took the whole country by storm, then the world.
Absolutely. All right. So I don't know how easy or hard these questions are, but we've got a couple different types of questions for you to ask. Or answer. So let's get started with our first one here. What is the max number of Pokemon you can have on your bench?
6. 5.
Incorrect.
5. It's 5. It's 5.
It's 5. It's 5. We're going to give you that one.
Question. You get a 6 in your party, 5 would be your bench, 1's your active. Okay. All right, cool. We're getting into technicalities, KDB.
Look, I told you, this is not my area of expertise, so I had a little help. Okay, let's see how we do on this next one. Do you happen to know what the most expensive Pokemon card is?
I do. It was acquired by Logan Paul in 2021 for $5.2 million as a Pikachu Illustrator PSA 10.
Absolutely correct. You even had all the details there. See, you know your stuff. You were just trying to be like a Pokemon shark. Pretend that you weren't going to know the answers to these questions over here.
Dial it back.
How many cards are in a standard Pokemon deck?
Most people are running 60, so it's going to be 60.
You are correct. I see people answering in the chat. Nice. You got some other fans here. Okay.
People are joining right now. What's going on? What is this? This is Suited Up, your weekly interview and talk style show. My name's Chris, that's KDB, and this is our 5-year anniversary of being on the platform. We're currently going through our first segment here where Katie is putting me to the test and trying to embarrass me on my Pokemon knowledge. Let's see how we do. Answer in the comments. Let me know how you do as well. All
right, next question. You cannot have more than 4 cards with the same name in a deck. True or false?
True.
Ding, ding, ding. You are correct. How many cards are dealt into your hand at the beginning of a standard game?
7.
Correct again. You're killing this. Okay. How many hit points in the lowest amount of hit points a Pokemon has in the base set 1 collection?
I want to say 30, but let me think for 2 seconds. It's in the base set, right? The original base set, not including Fossil. So in Fossil, they included Fossil Trainer card that had 10 HP. I'm going to go with 30.
You would be correct.
Okay.
How many hit points does Dratini have? I might be mispronouncing that.
In its original base set?
I'm going to assume so.
It's either 40 or 60. I'm going to go with 40 HP.
40 is correct. All right, a few more here. What Pokemon did Ash catch first?
Katie, I just want you to understand that the level of difficulty the questions you just asked me are can I get a plaque? I was so blown away that I got the last one. Like that, you asked me the HP on a card that's 27 years old.
Look, Chris, we heard you know your stuff. We're not playing around here, Chris.
These are some real questions, Katie. All right, what's the next one?
And you're getting all of them. All right, let's see. The next one is so this is more of a personal question for you. What is your favorite card that you have?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can answer this two ways. It's hard to pick. I have my favorite character is Mew. So I have been for a couple of years now one of the top, if it's some depending on the category, top #1 collector in the world of Mew. And then, but I have a lot of really sentimental cards from my childhood. So it'd be hard to pick from those. But my favorite character is Mew.
Okay, fair enough. On your first Christopher Collects IG post, you mention a card that every kid chased growing up. What card is that?
It's the Charizard.
Yeah. See, these are not all level 10 difficulty questions.
The Dratini question was like a banger of a hard question.
And you got it.
I did.
Okay. In your most recent Christopher Collects Instagram post, what was the last card on your video?
It was a bad one. Because I purposefully post bad pulls because I have to edit less. It's true. When I have more time, I give you good pulls. Or if my views start drying up. Oh my gosh. The last thing I pulled was a standard non-holo. It was out of a pack. I think it was it starts with a Garsnarl. Was it a Garsnarl?
No. Well, unless that's another name for, again, I'm trying to be the expert here on it might be a type of something. I only know the title of what the card said.
Okay.
It was Huntail.
Huntail's correct. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a Huntail. You see, it was so bad. I'm not gonna remember it. Okay.
It was your most recent video, Christopher.
It wasn't my most recent recording. I record like 50 videos at one time, not exaggerating.
Now you guys know how he does it. Batch videos.
Batch videos.
Okay. This is going to be my last Pokemon question for you. If they could make Chris Casper into a Pokemon card, what would that look like?
Struggling. Probably a happy one. I don't know. I guess if I were made into a card, I'd probably want to throw it away because it's not like a cool character. And the trainer cards are really popular right now. So I want to be a full art trainer card. But I'm not like into, I don't want to collect myself. So yeah, it'd be like a full art trainer card, but that was a good question. I've not thought of that one.
Okay, well, I think you did excellent with our extra difficult Pokemon quiz here. And if you guys didn't know about this passion of Chris's, this is something new you might have learned about him tonight. If this is also a passion of yours, I'm going to go ahead and plug his Casper Collects Instagram page one more time if you want to go follow him over there.
You can click the name at the top. It'll take you to my Instagram. There's a second one. I appreciate that, Katie.
There you go. Well, congratulations. It's amazing that it's 5 years later. We're both still here, Chris.
Yes. Katie, you've been a friend for a very long time. We have a montage of photos together. You may even see yourself later, and you didn't even know it in this stream. Not in the box. But yes, Katie, you mean so much to me as a friend, and I really do appreciate all the memories, and I look forward to many, many more years.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Chris. I'm going to go ahead and give the show back to you guys. Off to the next guest. Bye.
Katie B, hit the favorite button on her. She has a dance show every Thursday at 7 sometimes. She happens to be like kind of famous and always be invited to these really cool events, and I'm getting texts like, hey, Chris, I would totally do my show tonight, but I got invited to the president's house, and they're having creme brulee and Big Macs, and I gotta go to that. I'm like, okay, Katie B, you do that. You go have your creme brulee and Big Macs, whatever. That's Katie B. Check out her show sometimes Thursdays at 7. You can also see at Live Fest if you're going to Live Fest. This is Suited Up, your weekly interview and talk style show. I'm very fidgety tonight because I don't exactly know what's happening. And when I'm live doing this show, you may know if you've done the featured program, everything has to be pre-curated and pre-planned. Well, it has been pre-planned. I just don't know all the plan. Ari does. So coming next to the box, we have one more guest. But before we do, I do want to give a special thank you to the top 3 gifters this evening so far. We have Hot Mess in the 3rd place spot. In the 2nd place spot, we have It's Hot Mess. Is it Hot Mess for? Is this a whole Hot Mess family? And in the first place spot, we got Bebe. Thank you so much, Bebe, for your gifts. Thank you very much for watching. Again, as I did mention, this is Suited Up, a weekly interview and talk style show. I think I'm also fidgety because it's about me tonight. And a fundamental rule of the show is that it's about having your guests be the star, having your guests be what's important. So it's very different for me to try and have it be about myself. So on that note, we have a second guest reporting to the box. It's my friend Matthew. And Blake Premier, it looks like you're also on deck. I don't know if we have multi-box feature yet live for web. So at this time, Mr. Matthew, if you'd be so kind to request the box and do the thing, reporting live. He's got the forgiveness culture. And if it slips your mind, prep profiles was a thing. Matthew, thank you so much for being here, man.
Chris. Happy 5 years, dude. Happy 5 years. Now, listen, actually, we're setting all kinds of records tonight because this is technically my third time as a guest on Suited Up. And fourth, if you include the time you wanted to check to make sure your guest box was working. But tonight is not about me. Tonight is about Chris. And Chris, by the way, do you know my favorite Pokemon? Come on, think about this. Think about it. It's kind of obvious if you think about it.
Is it an Eevee?
No, but it has my original name in it. What was my original name on the app?
More Mizrahi. Misdurbius?
Morpeko.
Morpeko.
Everybody.
Oh, that's so smart. That's actually really good. That's a recent pick too. That's like a fairly new Pokemon.
So anyway, but I just liked it because it had more in it. But guys, this app, I think we can all agree, would not be where it's at without Chris. I think I speak for everybody who's been on this app longer than a day when I say that your contributions to the live community, the experience that we all have is invaluable. But you know me, Chris, I'm a contemplative, sensitive guy. So let's dig into a special series of forgiveness culture here live. And I'm going to do a little just like impromptu interview, getting deep. But I want to know, what are 5 milestones here on Meet Me, since your experience, that you really think just stand out to you?
Yeah, wow. Okay, so I will talk about this more later. But yeah, let's prime it right now. So the first one off the top of my mind is just hitting go live. So that was an important time. The first time I hit go live was before my official start date of today, but I took a very long break. I really don't count it. I saw George. He was like the #1 trending person. I was like, I could never get the views that this guy gets, so I'm not going to try that. So go live was the first one. I think the second one that sticks out as milestone was hitting my first million and then getting my top badge. So that happened very close to each other, and I'll talk more about that later. So that'd be number 2. The next one is the first playlist. It's really hard to put into words how influential and how meaningful the period of September 2018 through March of 2019 was. Like that 6-month chunk completely changed the trajectory of my entire life. And it's because live became my career as an actual like position in a corporate structure. So yeah, playlist opened my eyes because I got to meet so many people, and the friends that I had made from online, there they were in real life. And that's why every rundown when I'm shouting from the hilltops, come to Live Fest, is because I've really lived these things and I've seen if the chemistry is there for you, or if this is something you're serious about, it really will change your outlook or change some of your life, or at least be a confirmation of what you already are invested in. So that'd be number 3. It was playlist 2019. The next big milestone that sticks out, I mean, there's so many. I have to like bundle together, my friends, and I don't want to get like too specific. You know who you are. There's people who, prior to working for the platform, flying out to meet people. We were hanging out. It was friendship. It was true friends that you made for life. That's really the number 1 takeaway from all of this is the friends that I've made along the way. the real takeaway is the friends you make along the way. And then the last one, the big one, the elephant in the room, was when I officially became part of Meet Group, and that was in May of 2020. and I'll talk more about that later too.
Yeah.
So those are the 5 more.
I don't want to take up too much more time. I just wanted to say, like, from my, and I think I speak for a lot of people, but just from my heart, man, I know how difficult it is to put what's best for the app above any personal feelings we have, and always just strive to lift other people up and minimize, any kind of what's going on with us. And at the same time, be an example for those people that we're trying to lift up. And you do that at such a high and excellent level that,
Thanks,
I mean, it's really inspirational. One more question before you go. I'm the contemplative guy. What's the one thing you're looking forward to most that's yet to come with the live streaming community, man?
Do I even need to say it? It's Live Fest. It's Live Fest. To give you a little more teaser why, though, is that Live Fest this year, we are making earth-shattering announcements. Like these are announcements that are going to completely change how we stream, what happens in live. I don't want to overstate it too much, but it is the most significant thing that I can remember happening. So stay tuned. I mean, if you're going to be at Live Fest, you're going to hear it live. Some of these things will be streamed, obviously. So big breaking news coming in, the near future. So yeah, Live Fest is what I look forward to most, and
love that.
Yeah, the community is just here. It's strong, and I love it.
Well, Chris, congratulations. Thank you again. I'm gonna dip out. Y'all have a great night. Y'all make sure.
Hey, hit the favorite button on Matthew. This is my longtime friend here, huge member of the community, obviously featured show host. He's preparing for his own show coming up here, so make sure you hit the favorite button on him. Matthew, thanks so much for being here. Blake, are you here, my man? Blake, if you're here, I know that you are second up on cue. And if you are just now joining, welcome to Suited Up. This is a weekly interview and talk style show. This is my 5-year anniversary edition. Blake,
Yo, my man. I know it is super dark, but I'm at my uncle's, but I had to step in and say hi.
Wow. Blake, personal level, it really does mean a lot that you're here. And I know that you're going and staying very busy these days with things both on and off the platform. So I appreciate you being here, man.
100%. I don't have too much to say. I just want to stop by and say happy 5-year. To me personally, you've been just an amazing friend. We're just a great example of you can find just special people on the app and develop like seriously real friendships. And it's just been such an amazing thing that we've developed that, and then we've developed it with so many other amazing people on the app. So just so happy to be here and so happy to be your friend.
Cheers to that, man. I mean, we can't overstate it. There's a lot of things that are going to be said a lot of times. Blake is obviously on about right now. Blake, thanks for jumping in the box. But if you've been part of this community, you know that the friends you can make. And Blake is most definitely one of them, one of those forever friends. So Blake, thank you so much for being here, dude. And a special thank you to Moore and to Katie, who were just in the box. So on that note, we have Charismatic. If you are in the building, if you'll please request the box and don't go anywhere, because we may have another special guest as well as the finale. What I have planned myself, unknown to Ari, what is going on with it. So again, Charismatic, if you're here, please request the box. And while we're waiting on that, I have to give a special shout out and thank you to the top gifters so far of this stream. A special thank you to the top 3. We've got Joe in 3rd. In 2nd, we've got It's Hot Mess. And in 1st place, it is Bebe. I do appreciate it. Man, I'm serious. I'm very cut and dry tonight. It's fun. It's funny. On that note, though, before we bring this person in, Charismatic, I want to give a little primer and context of her and the influence that she had on me as a broadcaster. So for many of you starting out, you look at the leaderboards, you look at what's going on in trending, what's going on in live, and you set a bar for yourself. You look at what the peak can be. And even when I started 5 years ago, there was a list of the who's who, the people who ran this platform as far as their influence, the numbers they put up, and their dedication to it. Charismatic has been, by and large, one of those people. When I first started, she was someone that inspired me, someone that I set my goals to, someone that I dreamed of being able to rub elbows with. And here we are 5 years later. I can say I've had the honor of being with her at multiple in-person events, both public and private events. And I'm so proud to say that she's been a friend. We have our friction, and I know that we respect each other for it, and I'm so excited that you're here, Charismatic. So without further ado, bringing the queen to the building, the one, the only, Charismatic.
Hi.
Charismatic. Hello. It's good to see
Hi,
you.
Chris. Well, first off, I want to just start off by saying congratulations and happy 5 years on the app. We are kind of neck and neck in our time, so I know the longevity that we have on the app, the investments, right, that we've made on the app. So congratulations on your 5 years. It's a big deal. I love this idea, Ari. Shout out to Ari. You guys make sure you guys favorite her for just putting all this stuff together. I love this because it's like we always get to see you interviewing everybody, but we never get to like really interview you. So I'm definitely glad to be a part of this. Thank you for having me. All right, so I know you're cut and dry, stick to the script. So I'm going to try to be as professional as I can.
Have fun, Shire. We're here. We're doing this. Have fun. We're
professional as I can, yeah, but we can never be Chris. So what I want to know is, when did this journey start?
Yeah, it was September 20th, 2018.
Okay.
So prior to that, my friend Brian had downloaded the app. He was on Locals. This was before Live existed. And I was like, oh, what's that? And he goes, it shows you people around you. And it's like for making new friends, for dating, whatever you want to be. So I downloaded it. I tried it out, kind of just let it sit there on my phone. Opened it up passively. And then in early 2018-ish, I noticed the live feature. Tried it out like once.
Right.
And then obviously, later.
Okay.
September.
Okay. And, when we start off on here, right, we all have our own reasons why we're on. But, I mean, did you ever see being where you'd be at today? Like, did you ever envision that?
So the funny story of how and why I started is important because it influences the answer I'm about to give you, which is, I'll jump ahead here, is it was my goal. But I'll tell you why it was goal and there's a purpose. Is because I was going through a huge transition in my life, like a lot of people when they find themselves here. I'd gotten a promotion at work. Most of my friends were married or had moved away or just had very different interests. I was really alone. And I had found someone that I had a bit of a romantic interest in. She was very close to me, but we never saw each other. And that was because she wanted to be an Instagram influencer and a Twitch influencer.
Right.
And to make a very long story short, it basically came to a head where I said to her, hey, we're never seeing each other. Do you feel like we're on two separate paths? And she said, she took that and she ran with it. This was over text. And she said, yeah, like you're awesome and we have a lot of fun, but I really want to do my influencer things. I have goals and a boyfriend's not one of them. is basically it.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
So, I was crushed. I was hurt. I left work that day. It was September 20th, 2018. And I hit go live. And it was out of pure anger, resentment, and spite. I went live because I said to myself, I don't know how to play video games, but I think I can communicate with people. Correct. So let me try and see how far that takes me. And my goal was to beat her at what I felt like she picked over me. And what that quickly turned into was those feelings of like resentment and anger evaporated. And I realized there was nothing for me to gain from trying to put down someone else. Yeah. You don't uplift yourself by pushing down someone else.
Right.
And I can fast forward. Part of the story is I have not spoken to that person since that day. Okay. So my whole thing that I played out in my head of how I was going to be able to laugh and say, look at the choice you made, that was dumb. And in retrospect, it was so mature. That was 5 years ago. That was half a decade ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could not be more thankful for that happening to me. Right. Because without it, Shar, you wouldn't be in this box. And I wouldn't have made all these friends that I made.
Yep.
So and that's how the journey started.
The live button is just, it's so different, right? Because you go on there for whatever reason, and then you end up building this community and then you just forget all about your hurt and your pain from whatever else you was going through. But I want to know right now, what's something that your family, like when you told your family about streaming, right? Like, what'd they say?
Well, my family kind of had always known that I was interested in performance and things like that. I was a theater nerd. I was in an improv group. I was in float building. I did emceeing for like the pep rallies. I was never really too shy about speaking in front of crowds.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I didn't grow up with siblings. I grew up with all adults. And, something I'm really thankful to my mom and especially my mom for, is she treated me like an adult as far as communication goes from a very early age.
Yeah.
So I think it gave me the confidence as a kid, as I grew up, to obviously respect people who are older than me, but also have the confidence to hold a conversation. And another thing that I probably haven't talked about too many times here is I got my first job ever when I was in first grade. I was in a department store looking at Swarovski crystals, and there was someone who I thought was a department store worker. It turned out that she was the head of talent recruitment for a local modeling company. It ended up being the same company that Taylor Larson, if you remember him from Shark Boy and Lava Girl. He and I worked in the same modeling company. I did that from second grade through high school.
Okay.
And that was my dream. I thought I was going to be able to go from doing this modeling and like commercial gigs. I did commercials, billboards, the whole nine. And that was like my first exposure to what it could be like to be in the limelight. Like, it was so cool to get the newspaper and see my face in it. And I got addicted to that. But in many ways, like, I'm really happy that it played out the way that it did, because again, I got to meet all of you. So we took a detour there, but
Okay.
did I expect it, and what did my family think of it? It really didn't came to as a surprise, because it fell in line with all the interests and things that I had already done in my life.
Okay. Now what if for some reason we don't want you doing this? Like, we're not into it. It's not good for your health, which is the reaction my family had, or my dad was totally against it. Would you have picked something different, or you think you still would have followed through?
So it's tough for me to imagine that reality, because I'm blessed and I can't express how fortunate, how grateful I am for the family that I have.
Yeah.
Ever since I was a kid, no matter what it was, my mom told me that I could have an easy bake oven when I was a kid if that's what I wanted. She didn't see it as, boy stuff, girl stuff. She just wanted me to be able to pursue the things that I was excited about. That's why I got to do Pokemon. And my dad wanted, sorry, Dad, I tried flag football and it wasn't for me. But it's really hard for me to imagine that world, because I have such a good relationship with my family that they put that trust in me, that if I think something's good for me and I'm excited about something, that they rally behind it. So to me, I don't even have to entertain that idea, because I'm just that fortunate.
Okay. Well, we're going to skip right on to the next question then. Tell us, how do you measure happiness?
Oh my gosh, what a good question, Shar.
Sheesh. I want all you guys in the chat to think about this, and I'm going to give him some time and show you guys something that I just found. Okay. Check this thing out. Check this thing out. You know what I'm saying? Hello, look at you. Look at my face. I was crazy in that one. Right? That was our first. That was the Wall of Fame trip.
That was the Wall of Fame, yeah.
Yeah.
That was in 2019. Shar, before I answer your question, I want to give you a huge congratulations. And I know that people celebrate it a lot, but I'm going to say that I have at least some insight, maybe, that I was lucky to know you before all that, because I think it adds a lot of context and perspective to truly how far you made it. Because just to celebrate you for a second here, like, you did a 180 on your life. This wasn't just like you lost weight and gained confidence. Like, you gave yourself a future. And that's amazing. And I'm really proud of you, Shar. You should really, really be proud.
It means a lot. You've been there since day one, so it means a lot. But this isn't about me right now. This is about Chris.
I know. I'm going to cry.
This is your turn. Oh, you're making me emotional. We're going to hug it out at lunch. You guys to come. We are going to have a good conversation. I can't wait to see you again in person, So, happiness. How do you measure it?
How I measure happiness, I'm going to just default back to one of my tried and true phrases. I have my Chris phrases, and one of them is that it's not about where it's at, it's who it's with.
Okay. Ooh.
I know that what makes me happiest and makes me feel the most fulfilled in my life is when I'm with the company of people that I care about.
Okay.
And I can say that I measure happiness by the intent and time that I have with people that I care about.
Okay. It's a good answer because that could be friends, family, just people that you love.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a great answer. Great, short, to the point. We like that. Okay. So how about 5 years from now? What's the goal? What's the goal? Where do you see yourself? Yeah. It's a long time, I feel like. Dang, I don't even know where I'm going to be at 20.
Well, 5 years ago, this, for me, had just started. I hit go live. I probably had one too many buttons undone, thinking I was hot stuff with my lack of chest hair. And that's that was me 5 years ago. So gosh, 5 years from now, I hope that some of you have already seen our band in concert. Scotty Bush, Cause for Conflict, Alex Winter. So 5 years from now, I hope that one of you has caught one of our live shows, that you've got our albums. They've been played on repeat in your Spotify. I hope 5 years from now that there's someone who is able to laterally have the torch with me. I get gratification and happiness out of empowering others.
Yeah.
And so I hope that there's someone else, like me in the community, another person that people are able to rally behind and that can help others grow. 5 years from now, I hope that I'm celebrating with my friends the things that they've done well. Yeah. I hope that we're celebrating the accomplishments that they've had.
Yeah.
I set big goals and I set little goals between them. That's what keeps life fun. If I have to give one insight into of how I think life is best lived, is that if you are able to set ways to feel that every day is a little bit of progress, and it doesn't have to be in one thing, it can be in a lot of ways, but look for how you have progressed, or look for a way to celebrate how you've lived that day, because it gives meaning to what you do with your day. And I think that creates a fulfilling life.
Okay. So, I'm curious as to, I'm going to ask you two questions in this one. Okay. So back in the day, or even now, what are things that you look for in a stream that would keep you interested, that would keep you, in a stream, and what does it take for you to favorite them? Is it more on a business, maybe they have a show, or what keeps you interested and get a favorite from Chris?
Yeah, I have a weird situation where I've been on both sides. I don't know that a lot of people even know that I got a top badge like everybody else, and I streamed daily. Yes. And that's part of what the end of today's show will be. Is I got some stuff to show. Okay. But I think for me, when it comes to hitting that favorite button, is I pick up when someone is genuinely excited about something.
Okay.
And I think that true passion and true excitement is infectious. And so when I come into someone's stream, and if they're able to talk about something that they love or that they just really have fun with, this is something that's applicable to everyone. Just talk about that thing. Yeah. Invite people into the circles of things that you care about. Absolutely. And you may think that it's unique to you or that other people may not be interested, but I promise you, even if you are, which I don't believe this is true, you are the only person who's interested in it, I guarantee that because you are so interested in it, other people are going to want to hear about that. And so when I'm in someone's stream, if it can be as simple as that they genuinely interested and love their stream. I can tell, and you can tell, watching right now, when you watch someone, if they genuinely are interested in their live, or if they're just live because they're trying to put up numbers, if they're just live to try and get favorites and try and get diamonds. But what's the point? What are you even live for at that point? Just for numbers. And as a viewer, you can see through that. Yeah. So I'm so long-winded about this, so I'm just gonna cap it up here. But what I look for and what interests me is when I can tell that someone is interested in either their broadcast or what they're broadcasting about.
Okay. So you know what? I'm having deja vu about this question, right? Because I remember us having this talk a few times, right? What is dating? What does dating look like for you now? Yeah, we're gonna get deep. We're gonna get okay? And what are some things that would make you just be like, yeah, that one's not for me?
All right. Yeah, it's tough for me.
Okay.
So obviously everything's off limits, here.
Yeah.
And that was a really weird switch too, because my friendships had to change too.
Yeah.
I can't stay at the houses anymore like we did at Playlist. I stayed at hotels. I also stayed at houses. Sometimes even if I was at the hotel, I'd come visit a house just for like the party.
Yes.
I can't do those things anymore.
Yeah.
Dating is interesting. It's because like I don't know where it is for me. I find myself coming more to terms that like I'm getting older. I'm going to be 32 in January. I do hope that something will happen someday, and I guess I'd have to probably be more intentional about it.
I feel it.
But I guess ask me a specific question, because if you really want to get into details, you'll have to ask me a question, because I'll tiptoe and spin all this. So
yeah, I think you just answered it well, because I remember from when I first met you, our first time at Playlist, and how we were able to just kind of cut loose and things like that. And now here I am, same things, still having fun and a great time. And it's like, oh, okay, you're on business mode. You know what I'm saying? So I've definitely seen I've definitely seen the progress for you, and it's very admirable, because you did like he was saying before, that you put that aside to worry and focus on the app and things like that. So, all right, we'll skip past that one. I can tell the redness in your face. You're getting a little uncomfortable. I don't know if Mom's is watching now.
No, I'll get into it just a little bit more here. So in 2019, when I was a streamer, I met someone long distance, and we dated for like half a year. And I saw that person like maybe 3 times. And then my last in-person relationship was in like 2013. So if we were to, not include the long distance relationship, the last relationship that I've actually had was like a decade ago. Mm-hmm. And that's probably part of my problem, is I don't quite know how to function in a relationship. I know that I'm very self-minded of, I have my things that I want to do, and I'm loving life. And, after a decade of living that way, it's really hard to know what is healthy to compromise on. And I think I'm really bad at that. So, I mean, that's your answer.
I think with what we do too, it's nowadays it's kind of just easier to have that, you don't got to be around each other all the time, but it's definitely different. So, thanks for taking the time out on that. Another thing I wanted to ask you, do you remember, right? They gave away the trip, or they gave away the 3 things.
Good memory, Char.
Yeah, at Playlist. Okay. Yeah. How did you feel, right? Because I know how quite a few people feel. Oh, this is Rick. He works for the app. He is the owner. This guy's the owner's son, okay? Which is something he's dealt with for a long time. Same thing for Holly, right? Everybody always wants, he's related to the app. Anyways, they gave away, I think it was a watch, a vacation trip, and a Jeep. Shout out to Invo, my number 1. He got the Jeep. But how did you feel when you heard your name called?
So actually, before I answer this question, I do want to touch on something you just talked about, which is really funny. Is in my lifetime as being a streamer, for the majority of it, even when I didn't work for the company, people thought I worked for the company.
Yes.
And when I got the job, a lot of people thought I had just been outed, and they were confirming it. Mm-hmm. I never worked for the company. I never was related. I mean, I told you guys how I started. It's because I was a very spiteful, angry young man. But when I won that trip, it was first place. They gave me 2 Jeeps. And then I got the second place. When they announced it, I thought, number 1, I was shocked. Number 2, I was like, how many people are going to think this is rigged?
Right.
Number 3 was, I can't believe they gave it to me, because they know everyone's going to think this is rigged.
Yeah.
So,
right.
So that's what it felt like.
It was kind of like a bittersweet moment, right? Like I got a trip, but at the same time, like, oh, the grief it's going to cause me. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
It was funny. It was super grateful. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go back to your streaming career when you were, just a regular like one of us, right? What were some things that you did to help your stream grow? And just tips, because I like to tell people we started off at, how many diamonds I started off at? Zero, just like everybody else. Okay. So what were some things that kept you interested in streaming and just help your stream like progress and just grow?
Well, if you're interested in this stream, make sure you're hitting the favorite button on Shar, because this is Suited Up. It's a weekly interview and talk style show every Wednesday night. This is a special edition 5-year anniversary. We're going a little off script tonight, but it's fine. This has been really fun. Thank you. So some things that I did when I was a streamer, this is something everyone can do, and you're going to do it your own way, is be very intentional about anyone that you have chatting, anyone that's in your chat. The most disenfranchising thing, the most off-putting thing you can do to someone who's watching you is make that person who's watching you feel like their view or their presence isn't important.
Yes.
So if you use the phrase, my stream's dead, or if you use the phrase, no one's talking, or I'm thinking about getting off because nothing's happening, how do you think you've just made the people who are there feel?
Okay.
What is the likelihood that they now feel that they are valued when they come back?
Yeah.
So what I feel like made me especially successful fast was I came on stream obviously because I was spiteful, but in my core, I really care and am interested in other people.
Yeah.
And so my early streams were a lot of me having people in the box and just interviewing them.
Yeah.
And we all come to this platform usually because we're looking for some sort of connection, whether it's romantic or it's just to have someone listen to us. And I think what helped me was I had anyone get in my box, and I did my best to know and have them understand that they were special. And because I believe if I have to pat myself on the back about something, I'll give myself this, is that I have an ability to draw out a conversation from about anybody.
Yes.
And I have an ability to help people find how they are interesting,
Yes.
even if they don't believe that they're interesting.
And
So I just did a lot of that, but I say just did, and I'm like giving my life spiel of like what I think I can do best. But for someone else, what that could be is just that you pay attention to the people who are commenting, that you introduce people by name, that you are regularly checking who enters your stream and saying thank you for viewing. Like, while I do these featured shows, it's completely against all the best practices that I would ever tell someone to do as a starting streamer. I don't think featured content is for a starting streamer. I think it's for an established streamer who's looking to switch up what they do. But that is what I'll say, is remember how important and valuable it is that someone decided to spend their time on you. That is it.
okay. All right. Well, listen, Chris, it was an absolute, it was just a pleasure to be here and to share this moment with you, and just to be able to interview you for once. So I think I'm cut off on time, so we didn't get to make through all of them, but it's good. I loved it. Thank you for having me. Congratulations once again on 5 years, and to 5 more years of just success. And I can't wait to see where we're all going to be. So thank you for sharing.
Hey, make sure you hit the favorite button, Shar. Really, thank you for taking the time to come interview. She's in the box. You know her. You love her. Hit the favorite button. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you soon, too.
Yes, absolutely. And the last thing I want to say, for each and every one of us, I think I can speak for us, right, when we tell you, thank you for all the things that you do for us as featured content creators, right? Because you have helped us shape shows, form shows, and even with me, you was like, I got a better idea for your show, and you helped me with that. So thank you for all the hard work that you put into our featured content created show. So we love you, Chris. Thank you. I'll be in the comments.
Thank you, sir. Wow, this is heavy. This is a lot. Thank you all. Thank you specifically for watching right now. Thank you very much. My name's Chris. This is Suited Up. It's a weekly interview and talk style show. It's my 5-year anniversary of being a streamer, and I feel fortunate enough to have you watching right now, and also have people like Shar, like KDB, like Moore, like Blake, who have all gotten in the box to interview and talk a bit. But now, for the last bit of our show, I'm going to lead it. And I know that there's not much of myself that I really share anymore on stream, especially compared to what I used to do when I was a daily streamer. And I know a lot of you, maybe you watching right now, didn't even know that I was a streamer, and that things changed and progressed for me. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to switch to this, and we're going to go on over here. And I'm going to take you back through the history of me as a streamer. And some of it's pretty cringy, some of it's kind of bad, but you're going to get the full dose of what it was. So this is one of the earliest screenshots that I have and that I can find of me. This was one of my original friends on the platform. She drew me, and she did a really good job, as you can tell. And that was my reaction of when she drew me. I was at 120, what was this, 126,000. I need to move this down so I can see. 126,000. So, you know, we were making some waves, we were doing our best, but that was shortly after. And this is when everything was first getting started. So yeah, so what does that progress into? Well, I told you that I got that first million, and your boy's been rocking suits since day one. It's just been what's going. You can see my age right there, 26. I'm going to be 32 in January. I'm not trying to bite my lip, but my lip is... Someone cancel that guy. But I hit my million. And that's around when I hit my million right there. And so you can see that. Now, this was huge at the time because back in 2018, you only had to hit 1 million in order to get a badge. I started September 20th, 2018. Then by December, it was December 12th. December 12th, I hit my first million. 2 days later, on December 14th, 2018, I got my top badge. I was the fastest badged male in the app's history. I was outdone by Waldo. I believe Waldo actually passed me. But up until then, for many, many years, I held the record as the fastest badged male in the history of the platform, which was really exciting. And I still celebrate that because it was a very different time. To give you an idea of like what contests look like, people were earning like 100,000, and that was like first place for a contest. This is like a very, very different time. The biggest gift on the app was a red carpet. Before that, it was a jet. 20,000 was the biggest amount that you could send someone at that time. So this is back in 2018. So after I hit my 1 million, I knew that I needed to keep things interesting. So we started introducing dares and started trying to get out and get weird. That was peanut butter on a pickle, and I said if we hit a certain goal, I would do it. I think it was for 2 million. You can see Eric there. Eric is a forever friend. Nicole, forever friend. You know, there's so many forever friends I can't appreciate enough. But yeah, we were putting peanut butter on pickles. We were trying our best, but that was all leading up to what would become the big idea, which was featured content. And the idea of what a featured content program could be. Because while I was doing dares and I was drawing pictures and I was cracking eggs over my head and I was doing random verse battles and anything, like I know the game. I've been there. I've done that. I experienced that. I've streamed every day. Like I know what it feels like. And I guess one of the things I wish is just that that people knew. Like people knew that I've been through the trenches with you. So when, you know, I announced those top badges, like I know what it feels like because I streamed day in and day out. I like cried when I got that badge. Like it changed my life. So let's go ahead and move to the next one. So, and that's playlist 2019. So that's Holly and I. As you can see, I haven't changed one bit. Actually, I think it's about the same. Holly, looking fantastic. But there was this whole core group of us that we just had so much fun. And as I've told you a couple of times, this really changed my life. This event did. And some of these people you may recognize. You got Bailey and some others. You got George, who's up there as well. And this was just, we were all babies. I mean, I think I was 27. I just turned 27 here. And this was, the beginning of what would change my life. We've got Frosty in there as well. There's a lot of great people, a lot of former top badges, people like that. And I miss them all. So what happened is leading up to that event, I proposed something called Suited Up. And Suited Up was going to be the trial, the template of what could something look like as a featured show. What would a featured show be? So I wrote a proposal and I booked 3 people. It was Bailey, the OG Bay, you may know her by, Marquise, aka the Idol, and I think the last person was someone called Jacob at the time. Yeah, Unstoppable Idol, you may know them as that. And this was Suited Up. So I used to do it. I had these 2 little sound pads, as you can see. I had a little printout. I actually just found that. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but that's the original Suited Up logo that someone in the community had made. And yeah, that happened. That was at the very end of March of 2019, which ended up progressing into this, which was the Wall of Fame event, which Shar had just shown. And there were tons of photos that we could do. But yeah, you can see here, like, this was at the official Meet Group headquarters. This was the first time that they had done something like that. And it was really special to me that they thought to invite me in to be part of it. This was obviously, you are not, Shar, I promise. Look, I wouldn't crop anyone out like that. Look, I even put myself way on the edge. All right. What did this all lead to? It led to this, which Shar was talking about me winning that trip. So that's not the look of someone who's super. I was very concerned. I was very concerned. I was very concerned. That's Jim B, who I'm giving the hug to, and that was a huge moment. I won't get too far into it because Shar asked it during the interview, but Playlist 2020. So this is back in 2020. Still, I didn't work for the company yet. It was just such an out-of-body experience to win that. I also got to speak on a panel, which was really cool. But I want to just take a moment to be mad at whoever took this photo, whether it was Thriving or KDB, because how are you going to do me like that? I thought we were friends. And you're going to post that? I think it was Katie, because she's killing it. And she's like, oh, yeah, everybody else is fine. Thanks. So anyway, that exists somewhere on the internet. But, but yeah, that was Playlist. That was Playlist 2020. I got to speak on a panel with Drew Lynch. That was such a significant moment. It was really exciting. And yeah, I'm kind of just speaking off the cuff here because a lot of this is sentimental. So obviously, we come back from Playlist. Why am I showing you this? Because for just a brief moment, I thought I would take up art in streaming. I quickly quit doing that because I realized you're not good at this. Don't try and make it a thing. And so we didn't. But we kept going steady. We kept going strong. This is when I hit my 19,000 favorites. I still didn't work for the company, but we had conversations around that. I did have Invisalign, though, and that was a weird era for broadcasting because I had to learn how to talk through having Invisaligns, which was weird. But what did that mean? Well, we entered the pandemic, and I started busting out the DJ stream. Shout out to Chronic Chris, who took this one. The pandemic obviously changed things for a lot of people, and I busted out my old thing. I ran a DJ company for many years. I DJed a lot of events, a lot of weddings, and I brought those to the live stream. And when I DJ, I kind of get into it, as you can see by the
stolen car
that we're throwing up here.
Is the car alarm going as they're driving?
Hello? Is there another stream going? All right. Well, that's weird. Do you guys hear another stream? No? All right. This is really concerning. So yeah, it all led up to this. During the pandemic, I got that official announcement. We announced this in 2020, May of 2020. I eventually joined the Meet Group officially. Jim came on to Suited Up here, where we've announced a lot of things. My hair was super long, and I was very fortunate to be able to accept and take that position. That brings us to today. And so that was kind of a sped up version. Whoops, let's get there. That was a bit of a sped up version of our history together. And I thought of a lot of different ways to try and end this and talk about how do you summarize 5 years, not without like getting too self-indulgent. But what I decided and what I landed on was this, is that whatever reason that you're on the platform, whatever reason you decide to visit this stream, whatever reason you choose to hit live or watch other people's lives, I hope that you don't second guess that you belong. I hope you don't second guess that this can't be as special as it is for me as it is for you. Because it'll look different for you the same way it'll look different for me. And it doesn't make it any worse. It doesn't make it any better. And I hope that whatever that journey is for you is that you don't compare it, that you don't put it down, that you don't think that it's not good enough. I hope you also don't think that you're better than everybody else and that no one else will ever be able to compete with you. Maybe that's false confidence, but we don't have to go through that route. What I'm basically trying to summarize here is that I'm thankful that you're here. And I'm really thankful that you accept me in whatever way that you have. Whether it's that you come to the rundown and you give me crap in the comments, whether you come here and you support your favorite streamers for the time that we get to interview and talk. I can't thank you enough. My family knows about you, sort of. I obviously see you and know you. And I just really can't put into words how much I appreciate and care, and I'm thankful. As I was telling Scotty, he's my best friend, he's here. I kept shouting over to him in the other room because we were supposed to hit the gym, and I got caught up looking through photos. It's like, dude, I'm kind of sad. And it's because I really realized how fast these 5 years have been, but at the same time, how much has happened with it. And if I could write my life over and choose to do things different, I just wouldn't, because I truly believe that I'm where I'm supposed to be, and I know that you are too. Even if it's not how you want it to look, I know that it will be. So much love to you. I say it all the time, stream with respect. My name's Chris. Thank you for being here to celebrate 5 years. I'm not going to get loud. I'm not going to get all punny. I feel really proud. And I'm really happy. So thank you. I love you guys. So on that note, thank you so much for being here to watch the 5 year. Thank you for being a part of this journey with me. Thank you to you. My name's Chris. I'll see you next Friday. I'm not going to be here for the rundown this Friday, but I don't have anything else to say. So thank you to Shar. Thank you to Matthew. Thank you to Blake. Thank you to KDB. Thank you to you for being here. And I look forward to many more streams to come. Stream with respect. Much love. Catch me on Instagram. Bye.